So anyone who's ever followed WIEDA'S Marine or followed me online, or maybe this is the first time watching, I have a long history with Skeeter boats. I have personally ran a Skeeter boat since the mid-90s. I've had all the models back to the ZX202s, the ZX200s, all through the I-Class series, the FXs, and I truly believe that the FXR is the finest Skeeter that's ever been built. So let's actually take a look at some of the features. Now, the first thing that you'll see on this is the bow shape of the FXR Skeeter is a little unconventional. It's kind of more like that pickle fork style bow or triangular shaped bow. What I like about this is it allows you as the angler to get closer to the nose of the boat, okay? This allows you to flip, pitch, roll cast in a very aggressive stance, okay? These boats sit with the bow high in the water, and that does two things for us. For us that like to sight fish, it puts you at a serious advantage over other manufacturers' boats. It also puts you at a serious advantage when pinpointing shallow water targets. I like that bow up in the air too in rough water. When I'm on the Great Lakes, when I'm up at Erie and I'm smallmouth fishing, I like that I don't have waves coming over the front deck and soaking me. So the high bow and this unconventional, what I call it retro because it reminds me of the old Starfire bows, okay? But it allows you to come closer to the nose. As we dive down below, we can see this massive gull wing hull, okay? And we look down from the front, we'll see that we have a lot of flare. So the hull flares over, okay? And it creates basically this wing. And the idea of this is the V of your hull is what splits the water and absorbs the energy, okay? But once you absorb that energy, you've got to dissipate it. This takes that wave energy and that literal water itself, and it takes and it throws it down and away from you, and that is why Skeeter has one of the smoothest and the driest, definitely the driest rides in the industry. And you can see just how massive this is on this FXR 21. The FXR 20 is also going to have the similar exact design. We're just talking a foot shorter. As we come up to the business end of this boat, which we'll get in a little bit more, we'll talk about that big deck. So as we come around and we follow the lines of the Skeeter, you'll notice that Skeeter engineers have what they call the constant curvature model. And constant curvature means this boat curves from the bow all the way to the stern. As we eye down the rub rail, you'll see that we constantly have curvature front to back. And then if we look at the top cap, we have constant curvature here all the way down the sides. And you may ask why. Well, if you've ever studied any kind of architecture, we look at the arch of a bridge. Why are bridges made with arches? Well, a bridge is made with an arch because an arch gives you rigidity and strength. I'll take this simple business card, okay? It's WIEDA'S Marine business card, which you should have one in your pocket, by the way. So this card is flimsy, okay? It has no rigidity to it at all. It's a flat surface. If I take this card and I arch it, okay, I instantly have rigidity. The Skeeter engineers have used that philosophy in their boats, and it's one of the reasons these hulls are so durable. Remember, these boats are engineered and designed down by Texans, down Kilgore, Texas, okay? And anyone who's ever fished those Texas and Louisiana lakes, you know how tough those stumps are and those standing timber. And you can rest assured that these Skeeters are probably one of the most durable boats for coming through standing timber field stump and running the Great Lakes of, you know, the Great Lakes, Lake Erie and Lake St. Clair, etc., okay? So, following the curvature design all the way down, we're going to lead our way to the cockpit, okay? And we got one of the most beautiful styled windshields. This has got the nice limited edition badge here. We also have the 75th anniversary logo here, which is kind of cool. But what I like about the Skeeter console, it's low profile, it's functional. So as we lead around past the cockpit, Skeeter has a very roomy cockpit, which we'll check out on board here in a second. But it really is a clean dash. We have a nice clean instrument panel here. It's a digital panel, very comfortable ergonomics with the hot foot. Again, I want to go inside and look at that. We're going to stay on the outside of the boat for now. So the sponsons, I've mentioned this many times. We get back here and we've got these sponsons. People joke, they call them the you know, the derriere, or they call them, you know, all sorts of different things. But these sponsons serve a very unique purpose in the Skeeter. We have buoyancy added to the heaviest part of the boat, okay? We've got our fuel tanks, we've got our live wells, we've got our big 4-stroke 250 show, we've got these Raptors, we may have 4 or 5 AGM batteries. This is where we need flotation and stability the most, and it's why a Skeeter, which is a relatively heavy hull, we can check out the specs below and look at the weight right here. This is a heavy boat. Yet this boat, I will challenge you, will go as shallow as anything that you have ever fished in. And where I live here on the Ohio River Basin, being able to go shallow may be the difference between catching a limit and not catching anything. So those sponsons add buoyancy where we need them. They also act like a foil to pop this boat up and get it on plane. As water travels down, as you start going forward and water travels down right here, it hits this and it generates force to pop it up, and that's again why Skeeter will have one of the fastest hole shots in the industry. Absolutely great. We've obviously know Skeeter's owned by Yamaha. If you don't know that by now, Skeeter is actually owned by Yamaha Motor Corporation, and that is why we have these beautiful shows coming standard. This is the new show they came out with last year, new cowling, upgraded charging system in it. Other than that, just the same dependable power plant we're used to. I love my show engines. Torque, quiet, reliable, just can't speak enough for them. And the styling is out of this world. We got this, I call it the skunk stripe on the back here, okay? This beautiful silver, the 250 show, and the whole design behind this, if you ever want to know a little history, obviously being a Japanese company, Yamaha, this is actually a samurai helmet. Is where the design, okay? So they've got a little bit of lineage and history in that. When they designed the Cowan, that's the look that they're kind of using as inspiration, as the old, you know, ancient samurais, their helmets. We've got a hydraulic jack plate on this one. We figure getting a boat this serious, you may want that. So obviously teenage hydraulic jack plate, you can go up and down. And what are hydraulic jack plates good for? Hydraulic jack plate is good when you're in shallow water and you're idling. When you don't have a hydraulic jack plate, you trim your motor up, you tend to kind of push the rear end of the boat down into the mud. You can go shallower if you lift that jack plate all the way up, mud or sand or what have you. You lift that jack plate up, it allows you to be able to keep the motor trimmed more level and get more push. So if you're in and out of the shallows, jack plate's good. It's also good for when you're carrying different loads of passengers, whatever, you can adjust that for the optimal speed, okay? I want to look at the battery compartment real quick. So the battery compartment, we're going to open it up, and Skeeter gives us dealers a lot of room. Skeeter gives us dealers a lot of room to work in this battery compartment back here. So we'll come in here, you'll see that we have plenty of room to run our 4, possibly 5 batteries. We've got a really nice Perco switch here that allows us to turn all the engine functions off, our depth finders off, okay? And at WIEDA'S Marine, a lot of times, if you're gonna go with multiple depth finders, we'll install custom sonar harnesses. That's one thing about WIEDA'S Marine. You know, we rig Jacob Wheeler's boats, we rig some of the biggest pros in the industry, and just some of the most hardcore anglers in our region. This boat comes great from Skeeter. It does great from Skeeter. And you know, the 2 helixes it comes with, that's awesome. But if you want to upgrade this, you want photographs, you want dedicated wiring harnesses, WIEDA'S Marine offers you a big dealership environment with custom sonar shop service, and we can rest assured we can install any of those items for you, okay? So I'm gonna shut down to, last thing I wanna talk to you about is we got the rigid industry lights here. So all these compartments have got rigid industry lights. That's a partnership started years ago. I think Brandon Polnick got them on board with Skeeter. Great LED lighting, but enough. Let's go on board and check this thing out. All right, folks, here's the business end of the FXR. This is the big deck. Everybody wanting that big deck, here we go, okay? Size matters in a bass boat. And why does it matter, you might ask? Well, a lot of us are indecisive on how many rods we're gonna have on the front deck. Me, myself, you'll rarely see me in a tournament with less than 10 rods. And I have the room to put my rods up here and still have plenty of room to get up in the bow, get myself in an aggressive stance. And that's what I want y'all to pay attention to for a second. I can get closer to the bow of this Skeeter than I can in many other boats. And that allows me to be up here in an aggressive stance, pitching and flipping like I talked about. I love fishing out of the deck of a Skeeter boat. But something a lot of you all have asked me for in my videos, oh, this boat's got the biggest deck. I know. They can't all have the biggest deck, so I'm gonna start measuring these for you guys, and we're gonna show the measurements here in a video, okay? So the first measurement I wanna take is, we're gonna measure basically across the butt seat location, okay? We're gonna measure across the butt seat location, okay? We are at 70.5 inches right here. Not really at the butt seat. This is right here at where the deck splits, 70.5 inches. I'm gonna go up here to the actual trolling motor pan. The trolling motor pan, we are at 5 foot, so we are right at 59 to 60 inches. 60 inches, and then I'm gonna go right here across the bow, which is a little harder to get. Across the bow, we're approximately, let's see if my tape, yeah, we're approximately 44 inches, okay? All right, lengthwise, what I'm gonna do, we'll call the length of the deck, I'm gonna say from the behind the trolling motor pan, okay, to the end of the rod lockers here. All right, we are approximately 87 inches. That might be cheating out a little bit. We'll call it 86 inches, okay? So, how big a deck? Now y'all know how big a deck the Skeeter FXR has. But what's more important than the size of it is the actual gunnels. I love these short gunnels. I've talked about that a lot. I understand a lot of boats. What I mean by short gunnel is I mean the distance between this lip and the carpet. Why is that important? I believe the higher you sit up in that, the easier it is to flip and pitch. You're not gonna hit the gunnels with a jig. But they still have enough gunnel where if you fling a fish in here, we've got enough gunnel to keep them from bouncing out, all right? So that's important, all right? This whole deck is padded, very comfortable, all right, on the joints throughout the day. Most boats, just this is padded. This boat, the entire deck is padded, all these front compartments, all right? With that said, let's get in this big front compartment and let's check out the tackle storage in the FXR, all right? So, first thing we're gonna notice when you get in an FXR, you open this up, you got an aluminum lid system, okay? I like this. You've got this little ridge here, and we've got foam underneath our lids. I've always enjoyed the foam underneath the lids because that foam, it quiets you down. Stealth is a big element for me fishing shallow water. That quiets you down in the shallow water, okay? It also helps condensation and insulation of the compartment. Now, the tackle system in here, Skeeter, comes with the Plano boxes already, and you actually can take these melt cartons out. I call them melt cartons. So if you wanted to take this whole assembly out, I don't know if you can all see that, I can pull that out, bring that inside, or perhaps even organize it. And that's what I do with my boat. I've got, for example, my smallmouth stuff in one of those melt cartons. I don't need that in the boat all the time. If I'm gonna head up to Erie for the weekend, I can take some of my other baits out, grab that melt carton. And I like, they do give you room to put rods. So if you want to put rods down the side, you could. I've never used it that way, and I don't recommend using it that way because this rod locker is going to hold all the rods that I need in my boat. But this is a great place. Get you some of the speed bags. I think Plano makes them. They fit perfect down the sides, and you can put your plastics in those little satchels down the sides, or you can also take more Plano boxes and stack them too deep down the side. So plenty of room here. So storage, continuing on. The day box, my favorite feature in a Skeeter boat. We've got a little box that we can take in the hotel. We've got a little place for our dip dies, little place to put our spare hook, hooks and sinkers, spinner baits or chatterbait racks, plastics. Awesome feature. I've talked about it a million times in my videos, and I'll keep talking about it because Skeeter was the first company to do this. It was an excellent idea 20 years ago or 15 years ago, whenever they came up with it, and I'm glad they're still doing it. Got a nice gas piston here that holds this. This is the only one that has a slam latch. The rest of these are T-latches, and I really like them because no matter how fat your fingers are or how big your hands are, you can always, if you can't get them in a little latch, we can always get them in that T, and we got a nice, easy place to pick it up. This is our main rod locker, okay, our port rod locker. It has what we call mega tubes. So instead of having individual tubes to jam your rods in, you put them in the socks. You can jam multiple. I've put as many as 35 rods in there. I'm not saying that's the most organized way to do it, but you can get 35, probably more rods in there. They've got little bungees here that help hold the rod handles, foam in here. No carpet to get moldy or anything if you get a little moisture in there. I love the Skeeter rod locker. Some guys will put rods in the other side, which is a mirror image. Minus we lose a little room for the day box. We got the other side's a mirror image. But honestly, I can fit all my rods in this. It gives me plenty of room. Again, LED rigid lights. Got heavy duty waterproof latches. And we got that foam underneath there, all right? Pretty cool so far, but we're not done. We got plenty more. Right here, we've got a nice step right here. This is a great, easy way to get up and down out of the boat. And honestly, there's a company called Amp, even makes a little storage box there. This is our, call it the trash can. You always wonder, what are you gonna do? You eat that honey bun, you got that nasty, sticky honey bun wrapper, you don't know what you're gonna do with it, you hawk that honey bun wrapper in there. Or you can use this for dry goods. You could use it for whatever you want. You can use it for a line spool. Throw your big spool line in there and reel it up. But it's a nice feature that Skeeter offers, this trash can, whatever. It's just another storage item and makes it cool for the fishermen. Seats, I always talk about my Skeeter seats. I don't care if you're 6'5" or you're 5'5". These seats are gonna fit you big, small, short, and tall. They're very ergonomic. I'm able to basically have my thighs level with my waist, okay? I have my back pushed in, okay? I'm able to brace myself in rough water. They're not spongy and bouncy. They don't have springs in them, but they're comfortable and they have a very good feel to them, and I love Skeeter seats. If anybody wins the seat contest in a bass boat company, it's Skeeter Boats, hands down. I think they've won it for the last 15 years, okay? The dash is simple. We have a Helix 12 mounted on Skeeter's factory mount. Again, WIEDA'S Marine. You can do it our way or have it your way like Burger King. We can put bass boat technology mounts. We can put whatever brand of mounts you want on here and whatever graph setup you want, but Skeeter does a pretty good job right out of the gate. Gauges. This is another area that Skeeter wins. Medallion digital gauges. If I had $1 for every time a customer said their gas gauge doesn't work, I wouldn't be making videos and selling boats no more, because the gas gauges don't work. Well, let me tell you what, they work in a Skeeter boat. It's a medallion gauge, it's digital, it's very accurate. They have RPM, water pressure, engine temperature, all the functions, and an hour gauge to let me know how many hours I'm putting on that big Yamaha, so I can make sure to get it back here to WIEDA'S Marine and have the boys service it, okay? So, I like that. Digital touchpad dash. Between the seats, we got the big cooler. This happens to be one of my areas of expertise, mind you, is the cooler. We can put our drinks in here, keep them cool. Our sandwiches, we got a little sandwich tray. We don't have no soggy, rotten bologna sandwiches floating around in the ice chest. That's great. And it allows a nice little step up to the back deck. This is not hard plastic. This is a rubberized plastic, very comfortable, makes for a third seat, and we don't need a third seat insert, okay? Coming to the back deck. First thing we're gonna notice, we got a handle right here. These handles are great, getting up, down, in and out of the boat. They're molded into the seat. Nice handle when you're getting in and out or you're leaning back here. You're checking on the dirty 30. That's right, the dirty 30, the 30-pound sack. I'm checking it out in here, seeing if they're all alive, and I don't have to worry about them being all alive because Skeeter's provided me with an oxygenator. We've got 2 pump ends, okay? We've got 2 recirculates. We got an oxygenation system, and we even got a light in there. If we want to look in there and see old Joe in the middle of the night, we got that light in there that we can look in and see it, okay? So, Skeeter live well system comes with 2 butt seats. If you'd like a fishing seat, that's an option. And in the back, we've got 2 large storage compartments. You'll notice this vent system. This is part of the Skeeter dry dock system. We turn a fan on and it'll blow air through all of our compartments and keep them nice and dry. This boat has the dual console feature, which also features a glove box in here. So, hey, showed you all the Skeeter boat. We're wheeling and dealing, top dollars on trades. Wiedas Marine, nationwide, we've been a home for Skeeter boats for many years, and we want you to come on down and see us. Just give us a shout at 859-647-BOAT. Colton, Adam, Richie, standing by, my sales team, they all fish. They'd love to help you in the Skeeter boat of your dreams. So thanks for watching.